Once upon a time, in the land of Zaria, lived a beautiful girl called Fafa. She was beautiful to the extent that every girl in the village envied her beauty. Fafa and Papa Fafa were the only ones that lived in his compound. Her mother died at birth, leaving her and her dad. The elders of Zaria, seeing how lonely Papa Fafa was, urged him to remarry. Zulea, a beautiful woman who had twin daughters, was a good woman, one elder said. She would be a good mother to Fafa. Papa Fafa married Zulea and brought her to live in his home. She indeed proved to be a good mother and wife to Fafa. One day, on his way from hunting, Papa Fafa was bitten by a snake. Though he had tried his best to draw out the poison, he still passed away days after he returned home. The whole village mourned Papa Fafa along with his family. One person said, "Poor Fafa, she lost both parents." Fafa cried so many days and nights, asking the gods of Zaria why they had taken both her parents from her. Immediately after the death of Papa Fafa, Zulea, the stepmother, changed completely towards Fafa. One morning, she said to Fafa, "Hey, orphan, starting from today, these are your social duties in this house. When you wake up in the morning, you clean the whole house, the compound, including my hut and that of my two princesses," she said. Fati, her first daughter, said, "Mother, I can't share a hut with Rabi anymore. I need my own hut." Rabi was her twin sister. Zulea, looking at Fafa with disdain and detest, said bluntly, "Pack up by evening and move to the hut next to the kitchen hut." Fafa looked at the hut that had rusted ceiling and no doors and nodded to his stepmother. She had no authority and no one to protect her anymore, so she remained quiet. Zulea continued, "Make sure to wash my clothes and that of my daughters, and leave no plate unturned until you are done with the whole day's job." Days that followed was like hell for Fafa. Years that came was hell to Fafa. She was chased and beaten by her stepmother. She kept the house and the compound neat and the hut tidy each and every day. And yet still her stepmother found fault with everything she did. Days that her stepmother was generous, she would chase her with a rod or stick, while her twin daughters laughed. One day, she went to the river bank to fetch water and wept bitterly why her parent had left her. She cried and sang a melodious song, and as a tear dropped into the river god came out in the form of a fish, scaring Fafa as she was about to run. It said, "Do not be afraid, Fafa. I listen to you sing, and your tears draw me. I know what your tears says. Do not worry. Take this stone. Very soon, your life will change. You just have one wish to ask this stone, and whatever you wish, it will grant you. But remember, it is just one wish," the fish said, disappearing into the river. Zulea and her daughters continued to torment Fafa's life. One day, on her way from fetching firewood, the village messenger, on his horse with other kinsmen, came to relay a message to the people of Zaria. "Subjects of Zaria, hear the message of the king. The crown prince, Rahad, is set to marry one lucky woman from this village and other neighboring villages. The woman the prince finds attractive shall be the next queen. The ball is set 3 days from now. Hope you all prepare and show up in your best attire. Jubilation erupted through the girls in the village. Everyone rushed home with this great news. Fatih and Rabi danced home, eager to tell their mother the message. Fafa held the firewood tight as she thought of a way to go to the ball. In the evening, sitting alone in her hut, she brought out the stone the river fish gave to her. She said, "The river fish said I only have one wish. Therefore, I would have to use this wisely." In days ahead, women from Zaria and other neighboring villages prepared their dresses, hair accessories, and other things to catch the prince's attention. Rabi and Fatih fought over dresses and shoes to wear and ended up being separated by their mother. Fafa sat in front of her hut with her hands on her chin, fighting over a dress. Fafa thought of plans and motions in her head, how to attend the ball. Fafa knew her stepmother would never allow her to attend the ball, so she never asked. The day came the women were waiting for. Fafa watched as the ladies in Zaria put on their best attires and shoes. The village was so noisy because everyone was attending the ball. Rabi and Fatih dressed in expensive African wear and accessories as they set off to ride smaller horses to the palace. Zulea said, "Hey orphan, take care of the huts and the compound and make sure not to sleep till we return." Rabi and Fatih pulled their tongue out mockingly to Fafa. After Fafa was sure every household had left and packed up, she went to her hut and picked up the magic stone and said, "Magic stone of Zaria River, make me into the most beautiful princess ever, with unique hairstyle and a beautiful chariot and a coach to take me to the king's palace and back home. May the people of Zaria not recognize me." There, the magic began. A second later, Fafa was transformed into the princess with beautiful clothes and a chariot with a coach to take her to the palace. The ride to the palace was in comfort and fast, the first in a while. The palace was huge and packed with women bowing one after the other, each one hoping the queen would notice and each one hoping the prince would pick them. As the chariot of Fafa arrived, everyone stopped, including the prince. The chariot looked like royalty, which meant the person was noble. There was gaps and chatters around. Everyone had the same thought as Fafa descended from the chariot. She was beautiful and elegant. The prince, lost in the beauty of the mystery girl, bypassed all the ladies in line. "Your Grace," the king said, bowing to her. Smiling, Fafa bowed back. He held her hands and walked behind the blinds where no one's eye could reach. And through the night, Fafa and the prince Rahad got to know each other. As midnight struck, Fafa noticed her hand bracelet shining and begin to disappear. She realized it was time to go. Before the prince's eyes, she set off running. She didn't know how much time she had, but she had to run for her life. The prince hot on her heels, calling her with the forged name she gave him. "Rona! Rona!" he called, but she didn't turn. One of her earrings fell, but she didn't care after all. It was going to disappear anyways. She rushed into her seat on her chariot, and the coach started the ride. Palace guards chased after her, but she was far gone. At home, Fafa fell flat on the floor as everything around her disappeared. Her hair, dresses, and horses. Smiling, she touched her face and her hair. She realized she had one earring on. They didn't disappear as she had thought, so she hid it well. The village was in chaos the next day. Everyone gossiped about the mystery lady. No one had ever seen such beauty and nobility in Zaria. "She must not be from Zaria. I know everyone in this village," one said. "Then she is from the other neighboring villages," the next woman said. Fafa, listening to the people of Zaria, smiled. She had had her wish come true, and that was all she needed. And then the prince had already set out to 3 neighboring villages looking for her, because there isn't much noble people in Zaria. The ones that are, he already knew. Rabi and Fatih had hoped they were going to be chosen, but got the disappointment of their life. The prince will be passing through Zaria last to see if anyone has the earring of the mystery lady. Fafa's heart dropped from hearing this. As evening approached, so the king and the king's men and the prince came to Zaria. Women, girls, and ladies lined up to show their earrings. They all knew their earring wasn't a match, but still tried their luck. Zulea said to her daughters, "This is the last chance to grab the prince's attention." Rabi and Fatih wore revealing clothes as they walked out, showing every part of their body with their not so similar earring. Everyone had come to see the prince except Fafa. She was scared of what her stepmother would do to her if she finds out she was the mystery lady, so she remained quiet. "Is that all the maidens of Zaria?" the prince asked. "No," he heard a response from the crowd. An old lady responded. Zulea watched as the unknown old woman brought out Fafa from the hut. The prince recognized her. His heart did a dance in his chest. It was her, he thought. He said, smiling, "Your earring, miss." The whole village watched as Fafa pulled an identical earring just like the one the prince held. The stepmother and the twins were shocked it was Fafa that day. The prince took Fafa along to the palace where a great wedding ball was held, where the villagers attended and rejoiced. Well, except Zulea and her 2 daughters.